be with you and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Several people who had been listening to Jesus said, "Surely he must be the prophet." And some said, "He is the Christ." But others said, "Would the Christ be from Galilee? Does not Scripture say that the Christ must be descended from David and come from the town of Bethlehem?" So the people could not agree about him. Some would have liked to arrest him, but no one actually laid hands on him. The police went back to the chief priests and Pharisees, who said to them, "Why haven't you brought him?" The police replied, "There has never been anybody who has spoken like him." So the Pharisees answered, "You have been led astray as well. Have any of the authorities believed in him? Any of the Pharisees? This rebel knows nothing about the law. They are damned." One of them, Nicodemus, the same man who had come to Jesus earlier, said to them, "But surely the law does not allow us to pass judgment on a man without giving him a hearing and discovering what he is about." To this they answered, "Are you a Galilean too? Go into the matter and see for yourself. Prophets do not come out of Galilee." My dear brothers and sisters, these readings bring before us three powerful human behaviors. And the first among them is innocence. All of us have walked on this path of innocence. We love to walk on this path. We aspire to be innocent. We have come closely and we have experienced the joy of being innocent. And that was the experience of Jeremiah. He was walking on this path of innocence. Today, you have come here with a great love for Mary. And this is the innocence that brings you to Mary, so that you may discover the beauty of a blessing enshrined in this very powerful human behavior. We have experienced innocence, we have promoted innocence, and this is one thing that the first reading brings out. The second reading, the gospel reading, brings out the second theme of the day. And the theme is about assumptions. Many times we have assumptions. Assumptions not just worldly, but assumptions based on our faith. Assumptions how things should be in our belief system. And these assumptions sometimes do not allow us to discover the beauty of the mystery, the joy of blessing. And these assumptions in fact kill the joy of Christian calling. And we are trapped like the Pharisees and the chief priests with such assumptions. They are the ones who were studying the law. They were the ones who were practicing faith. They were the ones who should be knowing first that the Christ has come. And based on our assumptions, our religious practices, sometimes we fail to see God's presence. We fail to see Mary's intervention. We fail to see good things happening. This is the second thing the readings bring about. The third thing the reading brings about is this element of doubt. And doubt in fact kills innocence. And doubt in fact unsettles us. And this is a doubt many times we have. We have these doubts based on our faith systems. We doubt whether it is proper. We see this doubt in the gospel reading today. We see doubt there's a theme these days running. It's about doubt. We doubt whether I'm doing what I'm doing is correct, whether what I'm doing is worthwhile, whether what I'm doing is according to the will of God. Some of these doubts, if they lead us to God, if they bring us in the state of grace, I think they are beneficial. Some of the doubts, if they take us away from God, away from the state of grace, I think they are very destructive. And these are the three themes today: innocence, assumptions, and doubt. And how does God solve this puzzle for us? God is solving this puzzle for Jeremiah. He is saying, Jeremiah is in fact grateful that God showed him that others were ready to trap him. That's exactly, if you are innocent, God will reveal to you the wonders, not just the schemes of others, but the wonders of the world. If you are innocent, you will discover a blessing, you will discover a protection. And with regard to our assumptions which are faulty, you'd also discover by God's blessing what brings you closer to God. Keep up those practices that brings you closer to a blessing, closer to be in a state of grace. And as regards to doubt, trust God. God will never let you down. God will always restore you. God will always lift you up. My first experience of Fatima was in 2011 when I was attending. My first night stay in Europe was in Fatima. It happened like a miracle, and I still very enjoyably remember this experience, going to the shrine of Fatima. And I was around like 7:30, and I was like so disappointed because the shrine closed down, that there was no mass, and the last mass was just getting over. And I was dejected, and I was like whole day travel. I was traveling from Goa to Fatima. By the time I was exhausted, I started traveling the previous day. I was so exhausted, and I said, I wanted a mass. And I just started to, like, with little desperation, walk out of the basilica. And this one person, unrelated to me, said, you India, a little English that he knew. And we started a conversation, and that point of time, things changed. I met a group from Canada, and I discovered that a friend priest of mine was also traveling with them. And they had come to the sacristy and telling the sacristan that they have a mass booked at 8 p.m. in the basilica for the Canadian group. And the sacristan could not understand English. So I was in the sacristy just trying to explain with my little Portuguese that they have a mass in English. And it so happened after that I participated in this mass. In fact, I preached that day. And these are the miracles that happen with Mary. I'm telling you, if you open your mouth, you will tell me lots of miracles that happen in your life. Not some years ago, I would say, you can even now. I'm just relating this to Fatima because last year we were in Fatima again with the World Youth Day, and we had a group of young people who went kneeling for the whole time. They were so powerful testimonies of Our Lady of Fatima, of Mother Mary into our lives. And this devotion brings us to these 3 points. Our Lady was a lady who was unblemished, lived a life of innocence. She discovered her assumption was to trust in God and doubt no one, because God is the one who is in charge, who is in control, delivering not just her, but for the whole world. Your prayer today will deliver not just you, but for the whole world. Pray for the salvation of the souls. Pray for these behaviors of innocence to stay in the state of grace, and may people discover God's presence through Mary in their life. Ave Maria.